All right, everybody, good evening. I said in my previous video that I may or may not be making a follow-up video based on the practice report. If the practice report didn't tell us that much, I wouldn't bother making a video. But if I felt like we could learn something from the practice report, I'd do another video. Well, here we are, finally with the practice report. It came out not that long ago, a little after 6, I think. And I feel like there's some stuff we can take away from this. So we're going to go ahead and go through it. Keep in mind, this is a walkthrough, so participation is estimated, but presumably those estimations are coming from an educated place, right? I don't think the coaches are just randomly assigning practice designations to players because they're, rolling a 20-sided dice and just making stuff up. I think that they have a pretty good idea of where things are with these players, and we can learn stuff from this. And there's a lot of names on this list. So Greg Bell posts it here. Several other people in the Seahawks media community posted it as well. So let's take a look. So we've got some DNP guys. Did not participate, included Byron Murphy, which that's not a surprise. I've said before, I'll say it again, I don't expect him to play this week, and I don't think anybody should. Tyrell Dodson was not a participant, hypothetically, with an ankle injury and a shoulder injury. He's already got some miles on him, man. He hasn't been here that long, but he's already got the miles on him, and these injuries might have contributed to him struggling a little bit on Monday night, because he didn't look very good. I think it at least maybe had something to do with it. So they don't think he would have participated, worth monitoring. Hankins would not have participated for personal reasons, nothing to do with an injury, so nothing to think about there. Alarming one would be Boye Mafe. Now, my understanding is that Mafe did participate in the walkthrough because that's easy, but what the Seahawks are trying to tell you here is if there was a full practice, a normal practice, Boye Mafe would have not participated with his knee injury. And this is starting to turn into a thing where I'm like, okay, how much longer is this going to go on here? So hopefully we get better news tomorrow, but my initial impression of the Mafe injury was that it was very minor, but I think we can now officially say that something pretty significant happened there. I don't even know when it happened, right? He never left the Miami game with an injury, did he? It happened during that game, but I couldn't point to a play and tell you it happened there, so kind of weird. So that's not bad, right? The DNP list is only 4 players, and one of them is not injury related. So that's pretty good. Problem is, the estimate on the limited participation is long. So we've got some names to go through here. Now, some of it is whatever. And again, I want to stress, if you're limited on Wednesday, you're probably going to play on Sunday. So it's not like these guys are going to miss the game, in all likelihood, but this is still worth monitoring. So there is some good news here. I will say that. There is some definite good news here. If you're hoping to get some players back this week, then the good news is Jerome Baker would have been limited, Julian Love would have been limited, Uchenna Nwosu would have been limited, Leonard Williams would have been limited. So that's 4 guys who we don't necessarily know for a fact whether or not they're playing. This is an indication they're going to be able to play. If you're limited on Wednesday, it's a big upset if you don't play on Sunday. So, Jerome Baker, Julian Love, Uchenna Nwosu, Leonard Williams, that's a big chunk of the core of the defense, man. So, great to have those guys theoretically able to practice. Still got Brady Russell with the shoulder injury. He doesn't play that much, so it's whatever. Farrell Brown still working through his foot issues. Now he's got a knee issue to go with it. I do wonder, with the way AJ Barner's playing, because I think AJ played well all around on Monday night, do you just want to hold Farrell Brown out until he's 100%? Because it seems like he's not right out there right now. So I don't know what you do there, but it seems like he's working through some issues right now, and he's not playing his best because of it. Noah Fant with the toe and Tyler Lockett with the thigh. Again, those guys are probably going to be on the injury report with those injuries all year, and it doesn't really mean anything. So, yeah. You drill down into it, this is more good news than bad. Oh, and by the way, Cameron Young. Almost forgot to mention him. I did talk about him earlier, but Cameron Young would have been estimated as limited. So it seems like he's close to being able to play. Remember, we don't have to elevate him until, I think, 21 days after the initial coming off of the PUP. So we could elevate him in a couple of weeks if we wanted to. But it seems like at the very least the injury is probably mostly in the rear view mirror. And now we're just dealing with him being out of shape more than anything. So I'm definitely going to take that as good news. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's a long list. You don't like seeing a list this long, but at least these guys are theoretically close. So good chance they all play on Sunday. With the exception, I would say, of Cam Young, just because he just came off the PUP. Okay, full participation. We still got Bradford with a knee injury, but it's not limiting him in any significant way. DK Metcalf, hand injury, still listed here. By the way, if you're wondering about some of these drops that DK's having, the hand injury probably has something to do with it. Just something to think about. Because he usually doesn't drop this many passes. He's dropped he's dropped passes at a higher rate so far this year, I think. Ken Walker, now a full participant in practice, which is nice because I can't remember if he got to full participation on Saturday last week, but I'm pretty sure he was limited all week. So the oblique injury is almost a wrap. Derek Hall with the hip is a full participant. Last week, remember, he missed some practice time with the hip injury, so progress. Rayshon Jenkins, hand injury, doesn't seem like it's affecting him seriously. Tyrese Knight, didn't know about this one. This must be new. This must be from the Lions game. Knee injury, but full participant, so obviously very insignificant. And then Kayvon Wallace with the shoulder injury, full participant. So, ultimately, even though this is just an estimate, I do feel like we learned something. I think we've learned that whatever's going on with Mafe is a little more serious than we initially thought. Because he is now behind guys like Baker and Nwosu and Williams. And I would not have guessed that initially. I would have guessed that he would have been ahead of at least Baker. So don't love that. The other stuff is fairly encouraging. And it's just a long list of names, guys. I mean, look at all the guys listed here compared to the Giants. The Giants have less than 10 players. We got like, what, 20 here? Let's see, 9 plus 7, so 16. Yeah, 20. That's more than a third of the active roster. So, no joke. No joke. But hey, it's not all bad news. We'll get more information tomorrow. Hopefully, tomorrow's information tells us that these guys are making progress even further. I'd love to see Mafe do at least some practice tomorrow. If not, I'm going to start wondering if this is maybe more serious than they're letting on. But all we can do is watch, right? I can't donate my knee to Boye Mafe. I can't donate my oblique to Ken Walker. All we can do is watch and hope. All right. I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. And it's a lot to take in, but all we can do is hope that tomorrow gets better. All right. Should be on Twitch in a little bit. Go Hawks.